intelligence, it's an oxymoron. It's like deafening silence. If I were to pass a compliment to you that your intelligence is very artificial, how kindly would you receive it? I'm pretty sure you would look at me as an arrogant fellow. It's like telling you a beautiful woman saying that you're beautiful is very artificial, right? Intelligence can never be artificial. Intelligence has to be real. It only then makes sense. So now, why is the problem? In fact, most of the modern researchers or the great researchers who have been ever since this term was coined don't disagree with this term, don't agree with this term at all whatsoever. Now, what is the problem? See, intelligence fundamentally operates at three levels. Intelligence by comparison, intelligence by computation, and intelligence by cognition. What we're talking about artificial intelligence and the frameworks delivered by machine learning and deep learning don't offer cognition whatsoever. We are made to believe, yes, there are examples of cognition, but that's got nothing to do with the kind of artificial intelligence that we are talking about. They are actually doing a different type of research. In fact, Google has a name for it. I will give you those examples. And you'll have to understand, we are talking about mobility here. So when you're going to buy a car, please open the bonnet and see what is under the hood. First, look at what the engine is. First, understand, is it an engine powering the car or other two small donkeys making it crawl and move? Are we being sold donkeys for nothing? That's the question that we need to ask. So when I told that intelligence operates at three levels, comparison, computation, and cognition, most of our activities, 99% of our activities work at the realm of comparison and computation. Now, to give you an example, like you know my face today. Tomorrow you see me, you will be able to recognize me. You don't have to apply great intelligence. It's from your memory, you retrieve it. And then you produce it and you know, hey, this guy is this guy and he said this and this is what this guy is all about, right? You have your own idea. And that comes out of your memory. Take, for example, a dog. There are dogs and there are smart dogs and there are intelligent dogs. And what does an intelligent dog do? You make it sniff a smell, and then if it finds the same smell, it will bark back. And you'll say, good boy, intelligent dog. Is that dog intelligent? So that is intelligence by comparison, because it retrieves that idea, the digital footprint of smell that it is stored in its mind has been retrieved back, compared, and then it gives a response. So that's called intelligence by comparison. And what is intelligence by computation? You need understanding of mathematical processes, formulae. For example, I ask you what is multiplication of a number A by number B. If you know the multiplication table of one of the numbers, you will be able to say, what is 25 by 25? 625, because you know the multiplication table of that. You can't retrieve that by memory. So next time when I ask what is 25 by 342, you again compute it and then you come at that result. So that's called intelligence by computation. Now what is delivered in an ML framework is you take the equation y equal to mx plus c, and then you have, they will always say that we need a data set to train my AI. So you give 10x and 10y and say you train my data set, this is my training data set. Actually what they do is they find the constants m and c for the data set that you gave, and next time onwards they predict y for every x because they know m and c. I hope you understood what I'm saying, and this is the artificial intelligence that is being sold to you. So what is being sold to you is curve fitting. You know, I told you a very simple y equal to mx plus c. Now the problem is you increase the degree of the polynomial. Ax squared, b, bx, third degree, fourth degree, fifth degree, go into Gaussian distribution and stuff like that. And what worse, all this is available in GitHub. So most of them who call themselves as AI practitioners are GitHub downloaders. They tune the constants and they sell it to you. And when you talk about smart cities, and when we talk about AI in agriculture, when we talk about anything else, it's retuning of these frameworks. These are already there, made by some guy who's already done a PhD. So 99% of these guys who work, they don't do anything beyond this. And this is not intelligence. This is not human intelligence. This is not what we are. But does that mean that digital intelligence doesn't exist? It exists. It exists in a different form. 3 years back, when I was in the Air Force, I incidentally was one of the members who brought the AI vertical up, because that was a very powerful organization which was technologically enabled much ahead of time than any organization, that much I can tell with authority in this forum. I took a list of all research that is carried out in India across all universities, IITs and otherwise, on a discipline called genetic algorithm. And the result that I found was not satisfactory. I wouldn't want to disclose the numbers here, right? But at the same time, when you go to a place like Europe, you look at big conglomerates like the Amazon, Google, Microsoft, they all are involved in this work. And the interesting thing that I have to tell you is that the frameworks that you're downloading from GitHub, when it is connected to the internet, the tuning that you do, the learning that your frameworks do, actually enable them to make their frameworks better. In fact, Google has recently, a year back, they came up with a concept called AutoML0. That's a genetic algorithm process, but that's not available for public consumption just like that. There is a company called Dreamcatcher. It designed an aerial platform through a genetic algorithm process. And guess what happened? The skull of that design resembled that of an albatross. You know, it's an eagle, it's a variation of an eagle. And that's the best flying machine known to nature. And that's how it designed its aerial platform. So it's not that it is not available, but we don't know. We are being waylaid. See, it is kind of a treasure hunt that the whole world is involved in. We are all behind intelligence. The one who solves that and reaches there first is going to deny the rest the ability to do so. That is going to be the power of this technology, right? And this is going to be the next biggest weapon of mass destruction. So when the previous panelists talked about the legalities of it and we need to form rules and laws, let me tell you that's not going to happen. And why do I say this so convincingly? Because you can talk about not implementing AI in transportation, not implementing in education, healthcare, but not in military. If that be the case, we would have stopped the nuclear weapons. If a country like China develops an unmanned combat aerial vehicle, our pilots will be fodder for their guns. Air superiority is all about warfare today. So if you cannot safeguard your sovereignty and integrity, there will be no cities, let alone be smart cities. There will be nothing called education. You know what is happening in Afghanistan. So for your survival, it is very important that we develop this technology indigenously. We cannot get this technology commercially off the shelf from a Google or from America or Europe. It's like asking a Farang to come and be here. Suppose if that technology comes and be part of a technology, a digital intelligence technology from Massachusetts comes to Bangalore. Please understand, like what has been already told, the Alexas and the Siris are 24/7 listening you. So those technologies will not only listen, it will start levying tax on you. This is what happened during the vaccination program. Pfizer developed its vaccines, and when it went to Brazil and Argentina, they said that you will have to put your sovereign assets to guarantee, and no lawsuits had to be filed. You can all check in the internet. And they started blackmailing those Latin American countries. Imagine if India had not brought in 2 vaccines. They would have said that the Prime Minister have to step down. The policies have to be in accordance, then only we'll give you the vaccines. If that is the mindset of these people for something like a vaccine, imagine having hold of a technology that will change the future of mankind. So that is the importance. So I had to set this backbone before addressing this question. How are our cities going to be managed? The whole concept of, what this is all about has been covered in my YouTube channel, so you can check there, because in the interest of time, we don't have much of time and I don't want to diverse much. So I leave these questions to you. It is, my whole idea was to not disagree with you or be a killjoy of sorts. but at the same time, ignite young minds to ask why. Am I on the right path? If I am on the right path, is it on me, or in this audience, to compel the government as well as take it on us to be the foot soldiers to enable intelligence, digital intelligence for the next generation, primarily for our survival as a nation and country in the times to come? So these are questions that I want to give you. So now coming to about, now that you've known that there is something called as genetic algorithm, let me tell you quickly before answering this question. Intelligence is domain agnostic. And why is it so? Because I am no different from you. I have the same amount of blood, I have the same brain size. It is just that I have an expertise over a certain subject. But when it comes to the digital regime, the moment you expose that particular component to a different set of experience, and I hate to call it data, right? Data means nothing. Data is unidimensional. A multidimensional data set is what an intelligent framework requires. And that's what we call as experience. For example, Dhoni. When you know that he captains and he plays in a certain way, you say that he has an experience.
Sorry, we'll have to cut.
Yeah, I'll quickly cut. So experience is what matters. So when it comes to how our cities are going to change in the realm of digital intelligence, we'll have less crimes. Everything else will be more optimized. We will be more frugal. And the compliance, the legal compliance for everything will be measured by the inch, which means there is no scope for anybody to say, I didn't do this. You do this, this is what is the music. And the law will be catching with you much faster than what we've been experiencing so far. Thank you one and all. Thank you.